Warning, this video contains opinions. Hey guys, True Review here, and this time we have the top 10 games that are set in space. Rules for this list are, as usual, only one game per franchise, but must also either be set entirely in space, or at the very least, have the player spending most of their time in space, rather than being set on alien worlds or inside spaceships themselves. So like those superstar DJs, here we go! Wing Commander 3, Heart of the Tiger. This old school title gets us playing as Mark Hamill, who has decided to put down the lightsaber for a second and has taken up space combat as a full-time job. A game that stood out for its time for mixing both space combat and live-action cutscenes, Wing Commander 3 is a space game that all space video game fans should try at least once. Homeworld! The very first 3D space sim arrives in at number 9 on this list. Take to the stars and attempt to destroy your opponent's interstellar armada with your own forces in several impressive space battles. Though this game came out back in 1999, it got a HD remastered version in 2015, making the combat and the environments all the sweeter to look at. The Universe Sandbox. This entertaining game is like Gary's Mod but in space. Create an entire universe if that's what you want to do, manage it, or even blow it all up by creating black holes that then spiral out of control and suck up all of the nearby solar systems. You can even load up our current universe and start moving stuff about, or maybe even replace Mars with a giant football. Totally legit, by the way. Look up at the stars next time you get a chance. You'll see it there.
Goodman.
FreeSpace 2. Now tell me, what do we say to an invading alien race when we have our own space combat technology? That's right, say hello to my little battleship annihilator. With the Shivans knocking on your doorstep claiming that all your base are belong to them, it is up to you to take to the stars and blow the shit out of them. Another game to have come out back in 1999, but is still favourably remembered to this day, FreeSpace 2 delivers fast-paced space action in a seemingly sprawling galaxy. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. Time for some DAC. Ever watched the Star Wars films and gone, gee, I wish I could be one of those pilots and get to take part in space battles? Well, at least the ones that don't die anyway. Well, I can't promise anything about the dying part, but Rogue Squadron 2 will certainly satisfy your wishes when it comes to space battles. Though there are some missions set on planets such as Hoth, a lot of it is set in space, and gets us taking part in space battles, including on the surface of the Death Star. FTL Fast and Light. A very enjoyable but unforgiving title, FTL Fast and Light is in at number 5. FTL is a top-down space strategy game that requires you and your space crew to deliver important information to a certain location. But things aren't that simple, as you'll be hounded by space pirates and rebels the entire way there, so upgrading, maintaining and repairing your ship is paramount, and should your ship be destroyed, then welcome to permadeath. So be prepared to get strategic, or be prepared to start all over again. EVE Online. A well-known and loved MMO, EVE Online will force the player to attempt at surviving in the cold recesses of space through commerce and trade, being nice to other players, or just taking up the mounted laser gun and going postal on anyone you come across. And with a huge number of subscribers, your opportunities will often change, allowing you to exploit different systems when two players declare war on each other, or by going on your own conquest of the stars. Kerbal Space Program. Probably the only time when seeing a rocket fail to escape the planet's atmosphere is entertaining, but Kerbal Space Program comes in at number 3. Construct your own spaceship or modify existing ones, and then try to leave the planet either by a successful launch or just winging it. Get it? Wing it. and try to come up with some genius plan on the fly. Get it? Fly? Though this game presents itself as a charming and somewhat kid-like game in places, this game is actually quite deep and requires a lot of thought and planning in order to reach the final frontier. Elite Dangerous! Take to the helm of your very own spaceship and go off and do, well, pretty much anything you want. Space pirate, space bounty hunter, smuggler, tourist, yep, space tourism is in there too, or interstellar business tycoon. But make no mistake about it, this game is not a walk in the park, as it requires the player to learn a complex system of controls, all the more to make you feel like you are piloting a high-tech piece of machinery. And I think I heard somewhere that this game's map is on a 1-to-1 scale of the actual universe. So yeah, it's big.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me, cocked your head to the side and said I'm angry.
Sins of a Solar Empire. And lastly, in at number 1 is the stellar RTS game, Sins of a Solar Empire. No pun intended there at all. This game gets you to play as one of a few galactic factions as you go about your daily business of mining, colonization, and conquering everyone who isn't you. Dominate and colonize different star systems, put together a huge space armada, and space battles in HD. Everything we could ask for in a space game. Except for weird aliens yelling something about traps. And we're out of time again, but you know what's coming next. Likes, subs, and Twitters are as usual, and I'll see you all soon on the next top 10 list. See ya!
This life is killing me.